Under the same moon, we share the love, embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. We have a great show in store for each and every one of you tonight. Yes, indeed, we have an individual that many of you have seen before. You've heard his stories about how he has protected some of the most relevant celebrities known to our generation. And I know you can't wait to hear some of the things that he has to say, the things that he wants to elaborate on tonight. Yes, indeed, we're going to have a great interview tonight with Big Homie CC. We're going to welcome him in at this time. Big Homie, how are you?
Doing good, doing well. How about yourself, brother?
All right, all is well, man. All is well. How are you holding up? Are you in a cold area or not?
Oh yeah. I'm in a smooth area. Everything is good. I'm blessed. How about you, brother?
Oh man, we're freezing out here in New York, man. It is This is the biggest snowstorm we've had in years, you know.
Man, I've been hearing about that. I've been hearing about that. So that means that it's gonna be the hottest summer we ever had out there for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So thanks for coming on the show. It's really nice to have you on.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. You've been working diligently at this for a minute, man. Pardon my late responses, but schedule's just hectic, bro. Like as soon as I wake up, I'm late for something. You feel me? It's just every inbox I got is flooded. I'm just standing on business, bro. Standing on business.
That's all right. That's all right. So could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
My name is Big Homie.cc. I am a former celebrity bodyguard for 16 years, and along my path, my my business began to pivot, and it converted to me protecting women mostly, and then I got into the combating trafficking, and it's been a tumultuous path, I should say, but seems like the hard work has paid off for me. Uh, I got real popular over the last year when I came to the internet with my story, and people seem to be pretty enamored by the knowledge that I have. And you know, I'm in the streets with my community every day. Uh, I just fight evil, bro. You feel me? It's pretty much just like that. Whatever people call me to investigate, I go out in the field and investigate it. So whether it's paranormal stuff, whether it's trafficking, whether it's anything the people feel I need to be on top of, I'm on top of. Paul.
That's all right. That's all right. Could you tell us what was it like to be a celebrity bodyguard?
Well, nobody ever really asked me that question. So you know, most of the time you're preparing to face battles for other people on their behalf. So let's say I got a client who has an immediate threat against their life. If in my contractual parameters they have an imminent threat, that means they are susceptible to poisoning, sabotage, ambush, personal attacks. So let's say we go out to dinner at a restaurant. Let's say he ordered a lobster mac and cheese or something like that. I have to taste that mac and cheese first.
Yep.
If yeah, so if he thinks he's about to get poisoned, I'm gonna be the one to get poisoned first. People oftentimes see me when I'm out in public. I have on black, uh, nitrile gloves. That's because I've been poisoned before. You feel me? So I know you touch the wrong door handle, open up somebody's car door, you susceptible. Open up a door to somebody's house, you know. Oftentimes I tell people, don't be that person that's rubbing their hand on the hand railing, going up and down to a location. That's a ominous place where people apply poisons to as well, or they want to get a target. So it's pretty much trying to prevent things from happening, and you got to be able to foresee the future. Really, you got to pretty much be prepared to analyze every room you go in. You got to look both ways out of any door, whether it's your bedroom door going to the washroom, whether it's coming out the house. No matter where you are, you got to be cognizant of everything around. So it's just being in a constant state of heightened awareness, I would say.
Wow. I went to Sean Diddy Combs' trial every day. I was in the main courtroom, and one of the individuals that came in to testify was Kid Cudi, and he testified how his car was blown up. So, in protecting these celebrities, I guess you would have to consider explosives and everything else, huh?
Yeah, that is something that comes up from time to time. And usually, I used to work with a guy, his name was Milan. He was a bomb dog trainer. And doing some little training with him, I found out about those threats. You normally don't get explosives and stuff like that unless you're dealing with high levels of organized crime. Because, like, if you look through history, the mafia guys, from the Italians to Sicilians, the Russians, Serbians, they've been known to use explosives, pipe bombs, car bombs, things along those lines. There are definitely avenues that you got to take to prevent for that. Now, if we take it on a client where that's a risk, then they have to pay extra so I can coordinate armored vehicles and I can coordinate all travel, all travel. Because, it takes 10, 15 seconds to type a pipe bomb underneath somebody's car. And then, if they got it to the point where you start the engine and that triggers the explosion, that's why you got to have armored vehicles because the undercarriage of those vehicles are protected from that. So, yeah, that's a real thing. And it's real strange how that just kind of got blown and swept under the rug in that trial. You know, the guy Combs really got away with a lot, but you know, it comes with that territory. Once the guy Jeffries from Abercrombie, once he got arrested on his sex trafficking case, and they said he was not competent to stand trial, that means he's not going to talk. That means Combs is not going to have to talk, and he's going to get a slap in the wrist for suing the liquor company. So that's what really led to all.
Have you ever ran into Sean Diddy Combs in your career?
Hell yeah, I ran into him a few times. He a zesty guy. He a zesty tough guy, man. You feel me? And I call him a zesty cake toucher because he has an affinity for man cakes, which is deplorable for me, but to each his own. But as you can see, like, what did Kid Cudi even testify for? Because he didn't get charged with it. I've seen
Wow.
this dude. I've seen this dude several times. I never worked for him directly, but bodyguarding for certain models and stuff like that. I didn't been to the onset of some of his parties. Like the first part of the party is a normal socializing mixer. You know, the second part, if you get the invite to that, that's when the lascivious activity starts to take place. That's when you got to be careful.
Wait, this is the Sean Diddy Combs party? Wow.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Half the videos you see of him online, he half naked, man. You feel me? Like half the videos, he half naked. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and he in the towel. You feel me? Like what's going on? Why you just in the towel? He always like that freaky ass dude. But it's just like you'd be surprised how many men is cool with that.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. In the trial for Sean Diddy Combs, one of the ladies testified that whenever they traveled overseas, her responsibility would be to gather everybody's passport because they didn't want, someone getting their passport lost when they're trying to come back to the US. Was that a custom in the industry?
No,
No.
no, no, man.
Oh boy.
Like, it's a video floating around that I have provided where you see the guy Combs collecting everybody's cell phone before they get on to the yacht. If you have nothing to hide, why do you want to collect everybody's cell phone before they get on to a boat to go to a party? Like collecting people's passports. I'm not giving you my passport if we outside the country. You feel me? Like, what do you need my passport for? That's just a methodology of control that you often see in those type of circles.
Wow. Now, under those circumstances, did you see a lot of fights at these parties, especially being a part of security? Were you, in fear of your life or no?
You don't see many fights at these type of events because most times it's invite only, and the people who are coming there know what they're showing up to do for the most part. You may see fights outside at the entrance of people trying to get in and stuff like that, but you're not gonna see many fights inside the event. No, not too
Okay. Now, I've always kind of liked following WAC 100. I see that you have quite the history with him. What could you tell us about that?
much. Shout out to Wack.
Yeah, I
you know,
like WAC 100.
when it comes to Wack, a lot of things is content for him. Like he'll be talking shit to you on the internet and about you, but in the behind the scenes, he's putting deals together for you. He's setting it up for you to go on different platforms. Because when I first ran into him, I was pissed off. As soon as he see me, he said, "Calm down, CC. It's just for content. You getting too damn mad about this shit. We know Busta Rhymes gay, but you just can't be saying it.
Whoa,
Calm down."
whoa, whoa. What did you say, Buster Rhymes?
That's what his exact words to me. That's what
Wow.
that's what he said to me. So
Wow.
just shit like that. You feel me? Shout out to Wack though. We was able to squash our differences, but shout out.
The event where you guys, I think you met at perhaps Detroit, was that scheduled or you just happened to run into them? I think it was Detroit.
Oh, I ran into him 2 times. I seen him at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and I seen him in California filming a reality TV show with 607 Unc and Blueface.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about the first time. I forget the guy's name that's locked up.
He locked up.
One of the guys that was with WAC 100. He's
Oh,
locked up now.
the dude, loose cannon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna try to kill them boys when I seen them, but cooler heads prevailed. You feel me? Like loose cannon's a sucker though. He's a straight sucker. But
Really? Wow.
he's a straight sucker and a pathological complete liar. Straight liar. Everything he said was fake. So he off the internet now though. All his videos gone. He off the internet. It's over with for him. He in the land of make believe now. Oh no.
Yeah. Wow. So when you say you've been working to help save women from trafficking, could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, 51% of women experience interrelationship violence. So that leads to a lot of people calling me for help.
Hmm.
And once one lady knows she can trust you, like once one basketball wife knows she can trust you, then word is gonna spread. You know, girl, you can't buy him. He coming. He really did what he's supposed to do. So once them conversations spread around, then I kind of became a fixer for people for up until this day, basically. So it's a trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar a year business, and the highest consumer of this is here in America. So you got to keep those statistics in mind because oftentimes, this is far beyond just the typical pimp and hoe struggle. You know, what I combat is not that. I can those people every time you encounter them, they say they in the game, they playing the game, and that's an agreement people have made with each other. What I combat is forced sexual labor, forced sex slavery, people being held against their will, forced sodomy, um, people getting bought and sold to each other. Every Thursday morning in Mauritania, there's a slave auction where hundreds of Africans are being auctioned off. The slave trade was never abolished completely. The Arab slave trade never came to an end. It's still going on to this day. So, that's the first group that ever even bought slaves from Africa, the Arabs. And, common misconceptions is that the white man started slave trade. A lot of those kings in Nigeria, they were selling slaves for a long time before the white man got there. I pretty much combat slavery. So that's really what it is. Sex trafficking is a form of slavery.
What do you think about Candace Owens? She's basically trying to reveal how the Jews were the ones selling the slaves basically to the white man.
Um, when you ask that question, is that an open-ended question? Like, what do you really mean by that?
I don't know. She's been basically trying to reveal this to the general public. She has a strong following, and I think people don't realize that perhaps Jews were actually selling black people. That's missing from the puzzle.
It was okay. So I'll say this. All right, okay, the Jews that are in Israel, the guy Benjamin Netanyahu, what's his real name?
Tell
Ben,
us.
Benjamin Milkowski. He changed his name to Netanyahu. All DNA services like 23andMe and MyHeritage are all banned in Israel. You know why they banned in Israel? Because if they did the DNA test, none of those people would be native to that land. And then come to find out that Judaism is something that anybody can convert to. So is being a Jew a nationality or is it a religion? A lot of questions that come with that entire group of people. And my other question is, why is it that every place they go, somebody chases them out of there? I implore everybody to go listen to Adolf Hitler's speech translated with AI. Once you hear that, you'll get a better grasp on what's really going on around
Hmm. So maybe that's why Candace Owens talks about this a lot. We'll have to do some research more.
Candace Owens has taken a piece off the iceberg, and inside that ice, she's found molecules of deception. And after the death of Charlie Kirk, she's putting insurance on herself now because she knows there's an imminent threat against her as well. Because it's no coincidence that Charlie Kirk's some of his last messages that he ever sent, he said that they're going to try to kill me because I'm going to speak out against Israel. And he turned down what 150 million from APAC donors. Once he turned that money down and decided he was going to speak out against them, he was dead shortly after that.
Wow. Do you believe that there could be a bigger machine behind his death, such as Candace Owens is saying, or do you think that's just a myth?
No myth at all. There's no myth at all. Because But I've shot people. I've been shot. The way his shirt was moving, I've never seen that. Um, the whole this world is a stage, and you know his whole security team was Israeli. They supposed to be the best in the world. He died on their watch. How is that even possible? How you not clearing rooftops at a public speaking event? Why is there no? Because a lot of times when people like that heads of state speak, the whole area is encased in bulletproof glass that they're speaking from. Why that's not there? It's a lot of security lapses that took place. A lot of lapses that took place. Where there's smoke, there's fire, man. There's no way around that.
Absolutely. We saw the same thing happen to the president of the United States where he took an injury to the ear. What do you think about that?
In all times of change in empires, you always see assassinations and assassination attempts. There's never been a time in history where we haven't seen this when empires are going through change. You know, we've seen 6 military coups take place in Africa last year, 2 this year. We've seen 3 attempts that they've made public on Donald Trump. Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk or Candace Owens think that they wouldn't be on that target list? Why wouldn't they? If they could try to kill the president, of course they're gonna try to kill you. So you got to keep all these things in mind.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how a lot of people doubt the fact that the president took a hit to the ear? A lot of people feel like it's just made up. We're living in a strange time, right?
Well, 22 long rifle ammunition, if it grazes your ear, that's the type of injury you're gonna see. That's the type of injury you're gonna see there. You know, none of the people in the comments or people are talking are firearms experts. They don't go to the range. They've never had CQB training. They don't know what OPSEC is. They don't know what it's like being on the X. They've never shot nobody. No one's been trying to shoot them. They're just speaking from their perspective and their opinion, which everybody has a right to, but they can't state their opinions as facts. Can't do that.
Yeah. A lot of people feel it's just distractions to take away from the Epstein files. You have any thoughts about the files?
I mean, I don't agree with that because there are no Epstein files. Like they released a bunch of pictures and a bunch of redacted information. So like there is no Epstein files. Like we seen them say there is no Epstein files. It was a Democrat hoax. And then we seen Trump say we're releasing everything. They also said they're gonna release all the files on Amelia Earhart and Martin Luther King and all of this. There's been nothing really. Just redacted information. And I always tell people this. Why would a higher intelligence ever tell a lower intelligence the truth? Because throughout history we've never seen it. The only way to prepare for the future is to study history. And most people don't study history at all. So of course they're gonna sum up everything to be in a distraction because from the inception they don't know what's going on. Because
Right.
like if it's a distraction from the Epstein files, well then show us the Epstein files. Epstein is dead in a jail cell where I know people who've been in the exact same cell. Michael Franzese, former Colombo crime family boss, said, "Big homie, I was in that exact cell he was in. It's no way to kill yourself in there. It's no way to strangle yourself in there. He was on suicide watch. You feel me? Then you got the missing 60 seconds on camera, just like in the movies. Why would the camera stop working for 60 seconds when it worked every day all year long? Why kill Epstein now when he went to jail for the same stuff in 2009? Why kill him now? When somebody needs to escape, they pull renditions like this.
Two officers were allegedly sleeping, right?
Come on, man. Like they plan with our intelligence when it comes to stuff like that. So it's just kind of like once you see little things, did you know that on Epstein Island he was hosting some of the largest science conferences ever? All of the most brilliant minds on that island. Why was he researching anti gravity so much? Why was he so obsessed with UFO technology? Why was he so obsessed with those things? People don't look into that. But if you had the ability to disappear, the first way to disappear is to be dead. We have no autopsy. We have no photos of his body. No, not even a funeral. His family don't want to see him no more. Not even a funeral.
Hmm. Very interesting. You know, when Donald Trump first became president, he was on a mission to give us the answers about the UFOs. He even sent some of his personnel, high staff, hey, go figure this out and tell everybody we want to let the American people know. And we never heard any more about it from him. What do you think?
So when it comes to disclosure, disclosure has already happened. We've seen Ben Rich, the founder of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, come out and say that we already have the technology to travel amongst the stars, but it's all locked up in black budget projects. We have the technology to take ET home, but it would take the act of God for it to be released to help humanity. When we see the New York Times come out and say our government has vehicles not made on this earth, when you see Dr. Robert Lear with his Alien Harvest book, when you see Linda Moulton Howe's reports, when you see retired FBI agent John D'Souza, who led the X Files program, investigative program for the FBI, come out and say, we are not alone. Disclosure has already happened, but people want governing bodies to tell it to them so they can take it as truth when they'll never tell us anything that really could benefit us because they need us to continue paying taxes. Point blank, period, man. There's no way they're gonna ever tell us the fact. Because if you look at Donald Trump's face when he did the interview with Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan asked him, he had that look that white men make when they find out, you're not the dominant predator on the planet.
Hmm.
It's hard for them white dudes to accept it.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because their DNA only 7,000 years old, man. So somebody put them here to compete with us. They able to organize themselves better than everybody else. They have a heightened sense of urgency and awareness than it seems that other people have because they the younger race. After I went to Africa, I was able to figure a lot of things out.
Tell us
Because
about it.
yeah, because like being amongst those people they seem like the leftovers from a ancient race that probably had pre-flood and probably conquered the world. The sense of urgency is very low. They live on African time. You know, they not having dreams of driving in Bentleys and Maybachs and shit like that. They cool with what they doing.
Hmm.
Like, you know, everything that's valuable is there, and all of the stuff that we take as make believe, they take as facts. Because in Kenya, they teach the kids about Tartaria in school. Think about that. And nobody's in a rush to do anything over there, and you can kind of see like, man, these are the people from the Bible, because they just seen the guy come out and tell the people, oh yeah, God told me the world's gonna end on the 25th. He got to build arcs for a flood.
Ebo Noah.
And you see, he went and bought a Benz with that money.
Yeah, $89,000.
Yeah, so like a lot of them people over there, you can pull the wool over their face real easy. So that's why when you get over there and you see, like, how could the white man come over here and do all of this? Because, man, like, everybody not on the same operating label. Like, you got some people that's on Android time, you got some people that's on iOS. Straight up. Them are the people from the Bible. Because, like, you can't pull that shit over here. You can't come out, you can't pull that. They'll kill you. They'll kill you before let you get away with that. Thousands of people showed up to that man's property
Yeah, I
with
saw that.
all they belongings. So that's how I was like, okay, yeah. I see what's going on. So whoever put them here 7,000 years ago, yeah, they had a plan. Somebody's quarterbacking all of this. Because all governments just seem to be as death cults to me. You feel me? It's all the same all over the place. Uh, I'm having a hard time not considering this shit just being literal angels and demons, man. It seems to me to be a very, very ancient story with the same main character.
Hmm. Interesting. The United States is built on Christianity, right?
Absolutely.
People don't realize it at its core, but when you go to court and you swear on the Bible, that tells you everything. But you can't use the argument that the devil made me do it. They don't really prescribe to the devil as much as they do your God.
Because it always says in the Bible that you always have a choice as a human. You have the choice. You feel me? I feel like whoever the prime creator is, he leaves it up to you to decide what you're gonna believe in. You feel me? Because if you read the Schofield Bible and then you read the King James Bible, a lot of differences going on. You feel me? King James in 1610, he had 47 clergymen, including Shakespeare, help him edit the Bible, removing over 100 books. Everybody needs to go watch that movie, The Book of Eli. In the Book of Eli, there was a white guy. He had militia, he had arms, he had land, he had power, but he needed the Bible to control everybody. So he was searching everywhere for that Bible. Come to find out, the only copy was with Eli, and it was in Braille. So he said, if I have this book, I can control everything. They disclosure comes through film and personal interpretation. Never is somebody who needs you to pay your money every year going to tell you the truth.
Wow, that's a good point. What compelled you to go do a deep dive into the Bible?
Oh, so I was raised in the church. My uncle, he's a pastor. My mom was an exhorter in the Christian church. I was raised in the church. And whenever I would ask people in ministry about the paradoxes that I discovered in the Bible, they would instantly say, "Oh, that you being demonic. Oh, you must be possessed." I was like, "What?" I'm asking you a fair question. I'm like, you know what? So I just started going to the library, and I eventually picked up theology as my major in college for a little while. And I also had the history of Africa as one of my courses. So as I studied in both of these classes and I did the comparison, I figured out what was happening because the Igbo have literature from, they say they was alive during the time of Adam. So It makes. I asked a preacher before. I say, well, what was happening in Asia during this time? And he didn't have no answers for me. You see what I'm saying? So you bring genetically modified Jesus to this place, and what did we do? Niggas killed them. That's what we good at. You know what I'm saying? We killed them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you look in our community, historically, black people have killed all their greats historically, and you know I think Jesus was an Ethiopian dude with a lot of skill, and the Bible says he had hair of bronze and skin. He had hair of wool and skin of bronze, right? So when I go over there to Africa, they hard on each other, man. The way they treat each other is crazy. So everything pretty much makes sense. It all started to add up once I went over there and seen it for myself. You feel me? Because most of them countries are shitholes, indeed. You feel me? Like I was in Nigeria. Like Lagos is cool, but you got 92 million people with no access to electricity. And per capita, Nigeria has the highest IQ per person in the world. Country's a shithole though. So once you realize, it's like, man, wait a second. The white man is not the enemy. He not even. It's not even enough of them. It's not even enough of them. They just know how to control the operation through propaganda, force, and incentive. You see, that's the difference between them and us that I've seen. Because a lot of people that come from African countries are so cocky. They don't like Black Americans, but their homeland is trash. Trash. I don't care what nobody say, man. Shout out to Kenya. You feel me? I love Kenya, but Uganda, Nigeria, like, bro, them places terrible, bro. And then you just seen what happened with Anthony Joshua going over there to Nigeria. Bro, there are no infrastructure for highways. It ain't no traffic lines. It ain't no cameras out there. You can drive on either side of the road. On the expressway, you could be spot several times. I said, man, if I'm gonna die out here, it's gonna happen in traffic. I said this several times. Like I seen over 30 deaths just in traffic when I was there in Kenya alone. So I can only imagine how bad it is in Nigeria. Because, bro, at one point, bro, it's no speed limit. Ain't no such thing as a speeding ticket. I didn't see no cops with radar guns. You feel me? It's no state troopers patrolling no highways. Bro, it's so dangerous. In one area, they said if your car gets stranded here, the mortality rate is very, very high because if the petcoat people see you, they finna kill you. When you
Whoa.
got, oh yes, bro, there's so many groups out there that's completely operating with no oversight. Well, I was happy to get home. I was
Yeah.
happy to get home. You feel me? Like it's a beautiful place. I got my house in Kenya, but I had to move someplace to where that fit my OPSEC, which is operational security, which fit those measurements. Because man, well, it take them like 5 years to build a highway.
Hmm. Wow. So since you're talking about Africa, let's switch up a little bit, talk about the United States. What do you think about this whole FBA movement, Foundational Black Americans? Any thoughts?
Foundational Black Americans. Well, soon as you see somebody come out and make it public, it's already doomed. you know, America has shown that they're gonna put down anything that comes against that sovereignty. Look what happened with the NFAC with Grandmaster Jay. He was fine till he went public. Then the FBI infiltrated, and then he's gone to federal prison. So the need for acknowledgement that we have as a culture doesn't work well when you're trying to put together operations like that because you either become like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and you work with your enemy, or you get Juneteenth. That's it. If you want to do something like that, it's got to be a secret. Ain't nobody. You can't have no website and all. You gotta have. It's got to be a secret society, the way they do it. Straight up. Once you see that, oh, they done made their announcement they coming out. See you later.
Yeah,
You getting infiltrated. You getting infiltrated. There's no way around it. You
because
can't.
a lot of the guys are trying to get reparations. I don't think they're pushing it from a political standpoint, but a lot of guys are collecting money. We see a lot of that, but they're concerned because they're saying foundational Black Americans should be people with a lineage through slavery. It should not include individuals from Haiti, Jamaica, or from the islands. It should be someone where their ancestors came straight through slavery.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose of it, like naturalization, births, and stuff like that. But like I said, why do we always need the exception and authority from all these other races? Because when we get the money, we keep it for certain groups and say fuck everybody else. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
everything that's valuable on the earth was taken by armed men who knew how to coordinate themselves. Everything.
Not a lot of success through peace, right?
Say it again.
There's not a lot of success through peace.
There's no success through peace because we haven't even seen peace. And in the Bible it says Jesus won't return until it's been 1,000 years of peace. So everybody's preaching this end of times and all these doomsday scenarios. Well, if they going by the Bible, it said it won't be another flood. So why are people trying to build arcs and shit again? They just scamming, bro. They just scamming. And Africa, the land of scam. They scam each other.
Okay.
God bless America, man. Straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get back to the celebrity deal of being part of the security. Do you have any stories you could share that would be interesting?
Doing security?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got a lot. I got a lot of stories that's already out. You want me to say something I never said before?
No, whatever you like. We want to hear it.
Uh, well, previously I had made comments about the guy Bobby Valentino, right? And then now you see him and Benzino is involved in a situation where Benzino's wife is pretty much caught him red-handed that him and Bobby Valentino had a sexual relationship allegedly. All other artists that everybody grew up on, especially in my generation, they tricked all the girls into liking gay dudes because all of the B2K, all of the boy bands, all zesty. Like, all of these guys, bro, the level of the zest, it's a zest apocalypse going on right now, bro.
Really?
So I'll say this. I got to be careful with this because let me think of something interesting, man. Because all I want to get niggas in no trouble, man. People trying to sue a lot these days. So I'll say this. One time, I was with a lady named Nora Naughton. I was her security. We was down in St. Louis. And I remember when the girl Sydney Starr was accusing the rapper Chingy of dating her. All I'm going to say is I spent time around Sydney Starr, and there's a lot of dudes in the industry who she had photos of in compromising positions. And I'll say that.
That seems to be the going trend.
That's the norm in the industry. So the people don't realize is most celebrities I met was living middle class, bro.
Really?
Most of them I met was living middle class. Several times they done asked me to borrow money, all kind of shit. Like, damn, bro, you on national TV, and it don't pay like that. And that's what people don't realize. So that's why you will see them like, man, getting caught in situations because like the guy Terry, like the guy Terry Crews, you know, he came out and said that he had a Hollywood agent grab him by his penis and ask him how big of a star does he really want to be. So if you see somebody after they done wore the dress, and you see them in every movie and every scene, you know what then went on already.
Wow. So there's some truth to this whole dress wearing
Yo,
story.
for sure, definitely, definitely, without a doubt, bro. I'm telling you right now, that's the fact, straight up.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle seems to be one of the few that hasn't went down that road, I believe.
Dave Chappelle ran off when they offered him all that money. He got up out of here. He moved to Africa. He was gone for a little minute because they was making him an offer they thought he couldn't refuse. And usually, when you turn down those offers, bad things happen to you. Everybody could look up a situation where Eddie Murphy, when Eddie Murphy got pulled over and his passenger, which was a trans lady, got arrested. And it was headline news that he was in this car with this trans lady when she got arrested, who was a street sex worker. Shortly after that, she died under very, very strange circumstances.
Wow.
So whenever you see somebody dying in a bathtub or falling from a high window, foul play is guaranteed to be involved in Hollywood. So keep those things in mind. Look at Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter came out saying certain things. Then what happened? He fell from a high window at a hotel, dead.
Yeah. It's odd that Whitney Houston and her daughter, died the same way.
They both died the exact same way. And like I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. There ain't no coincidence.
Yeah. It seems that a lot of the greats in the Black community, specifically, have died under similar circumstances. Michael Jackson, Prince, we lose a lot of great people. Marvin Gaye, the list goes on and on.
Sammy Davis Jr. told Eddie Murphy that he worshipped the devil.
Really?
When he come calling, you got to pay. When you make those covenants, and it is time to pay up. What does the enemy want? He wants your soul. And you have to die because your soul is not yours to sell. So they got to take your life.
Right.
And
You often
every person dies, their body loses 22 ounces. Nobody knows what that 22 ounces is, but I'm telling you, it's your soul at least. That's why. Once your consciousness escapes, your body is lighter.
Interesting. Different religions you speak about, they all have their own respective books. Do you think all those books are correct, or you think that only one is true?
Well, in the Talmud, it tells you that during the time when a boy is getting a circumcision, the rabbi has to put his mouth on the freshly circumcised penis and inhale the blood. So then you see in New York a lot of babies catching chlamydia and syphilis from the rabbi. You think that should be in the book?
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Right. Second Peter in the Christian Bible tells you how to be a good slave. You think that should be in there?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
So these books was written by men. Jesus never even seen the New Testament. So Once I see a book written by God, then I'll say it's the truth. But everything is up for interpretation because there are some truths, but there's a lot of things that have been altered to benefit certain people during certain time periods on this planet.
I think that's why people get confused about Israel because they read about Israel in the Bible in the Hebrew scriptures as being God's chosen people, and then they see the Israel today, and it's hard to, separate the line.
Yeah, they pulling a whole finesse on the whole country because how come they don't have no homeland? You feel me? Like where are they really even from? Why is everybody name changed? Why you can't get a DNA test to see your heritage in Israel? What is that about? Like, why is 23andMe banned over there? How come you got dark skinned Jews and white boy Jews? Like, which one? Like, I thought this was a nationality. It seems like a indoctrination. You know, the truth is indeed stranger than fiction. And whoever organized this pit of human suffering, they put a lot of different players in the game for you to choose from. Because Genghis Khan and them wasn't praying to Jesus or Allah. In ancient India, they had Vimanas. What happened to that? Nobody knows, right?
Right.
You gotta always know two things. They always say if you want to hide something, you put it in a book. But if you burned libraries for hundreds of years and you control what books people get, you didn't hack the whole system.
Right. They say the winners write history, right?
Yeah, the history was written by the best group of killers. No border, no religion, no land, no ideology exists without the best group of killers. Point blank, period.
Even when it comes to Israel, you have the Black Hebrew Israelites. They're trying to claim that role too. So Israel is prime real estate, right?
The black Hebrew Israelites are crazy to me because they don't even speak Hebrew or have any Hebrew book. They preaching out the King James Bible, which is crazy to me. Like that is the craziest. But like I said, to be a human being, to free your mind is to accept the open paradoxes in your surroundings. And the only way to detach from this matrix is to remove yourself from it. So that's why when I was in Africa, it's you got 7, 8 hours of the day, but no electricity. You feel me? You go to the sink. You're not getting hot water out the sink unless you got special equipment hooked up. You feel me? It's not a lot of 5G towers everywhere. Like my body felt different. The air felt different. You know, a lot of things was different. So I see why, Dave Chappelle fled there when he was having certain issues here in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like even Martin Lawrence, when he came, he was saying it's a group of Asians trying to kill me. He turned down some certain movie roles and people was trying to kill him about it. Where did he go? He went to Africa. I think it's definitely something special about the homeland, but they partake in a lot of spirituality, which can be conceived as dark magic, and they make covenants with different entities and species that here in America we write off as make believe, but over there it's very real. They have laws against it. When you see laws against using magic for financial gain, when you see laws against summoning jinn, when you see laws against interacting with the shaitan, when you see laws against hunting Sasquatch and Bigfoot, and it's illegal to hunt something called the Agagwe in Kenya. You know, they say that's the first; those were the first humans. It's just you realize that there are certain groups who have sequestered esoteric knowledge and they're using it for themselves, and they leave the masses stuck with a certain set of science when they're using all different types of sciences. And it all boils down to I'll say it, what would set a man on a crusade across the earth with the most elite group of murderers that he knows? Freedom. Point blank period. You know, when I see guys, Alexander the Great, Napoleon Bonaparte, why did they go everywhere searching with all them killers with them? Because they found out, wait a second, this was a scam. They lied right here. Also, somebody manufactured this too. We got to go investigate everything now. Hitler encountered somebody that was tall, blonde hair with blue eyes when Germans don't even look like that. You know, the real society introduced him to somebody. And, you know, why did Epstein have a temple to Moloch, the god of child sacrifice, on his island? Why did he have that there? Nobody investigated. What's outside that temple? An owl. What's outside the temple at Bohemian Grove? An owl. Everything that's valuable, you can track into some type of secret organization. And the very first secret organization, one of the very first, is the post office. So you got to look at all of the organizations where the person who's the leader of it can keep their job 40 and 50 years. Those are the places you got to investigate. Not nobody whose job is only could be there 4 years. Most presidents don't even have a need to know. They don't even get debriefed on all of the things that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective.
Speaking of the post office, did you hear they're about to go bankrupt?
Oh yeah, they're gonna get a federal bailout. They just moving money around. They just moving money around, man. How can a federally backed service go bankrupt? How can a government be $32 trillion in debt when they print their own money? How? How is that possible? They print their own money, but it's a $32 trillion debt.
Right on. So we're almost at that time. I don't like to keep you beyond the hour. It's been a great interview.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
in conclusion, I just wanted to see if you had any words of encouragement you could give to those who've been listening intently.
Oh yeah, always. You know, first and foremost, thank you to everybody who supports. Thank you to Mel for having me on Watching the World. You know, it's always a pleasure. It's an honor. And I always want to tell people this: tough times do not last, but the people who can stand the test of time, they can last forever. Things may get dark, things may get grim, you may have bloody days, but as long as you are alive and free, you are capable of succeeding the very next day. Stay the course, don't quit. The truth is stranger than fiction, and question everything. Show love to people until you can, and be a blessing to somebody, for sure.
Amen. Thank you so much for being on. We appreciate having you. I look forward to when you come to New York.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That'll be awesome. And we'll look forward to having you back on the channel next week. And until then, be well. And thank you to everybody who participated, who listened today. We hope this show encouraged you in some way. And we'll see you guys back tomorrow for News at Noon. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. And big homie CC, be blessed, my friend.
You too, brother.
All right.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the flame remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love. as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.